Hey guys, back with another Maple Story video here. This time, post April update with the ignoring me defense changes, the ADI changes. This is our first, well, this is our Damien run. We actually tried after our Lotus run with the remaining buffs, tried one attempt, and then this one was kind of the first real attempt with new buffs. And we tried a couple times, so in this video I have two runs all together, and we tried to first start off with positioning and getting him to dash left to get him out of, because you see he dashes here and you can't really see the boss behind the skill wheel. So we tried to dash him left where I was aggro, I was on the left side, and everyone else was on the right side. I didn't get aggro, everyone else got aggro, and he ended up dashing left or right. So that was mistake number one by us, but something we tried to incorporate moving forward, and just to get him on the left side so we can actually see him. And then right here, but you can see DPS is a lot better than our previous runs. You can sort of feel that ignoring me defense, just kind of the buffs across the board. I feel like it's still early, obviously, legit the first day of reset post patch, so a lot still to be determined, but it feels like damage is just a little bit better across the board, 10-15% I guess, depending on the class. So there I tried to stun it in the corner to maximize our DPS. Everyone's on it just to get a little bit more uptime. I think deciding when to stun is still up in the air, not really too certain when to do it, but we basically are trying to use it to maximize DPS. Obviously the stun is 10 seconds and the cooldown is 90 seconds for the reapplication, so we pretty much have to use it wisely. And right here he's going to do the black smoke, I think, after this rotted. Yep, there it is. So the thing about Damien is it is a set rotation, so really try to emphasize on staying alive, at least for the first minute, right? And we did a great job. We have 8 lives left after 2 minutes, so the team has done a great job surviving. Our biggest issue is sort of crossing rotted. You see people are trying to cross that rotted, which is that sword that erupts on the left side of the screen. That is called the rotted area, and we've had trouble in the past crossing it, so we'd really lack DPS. And right there, a second sword rotted area came down, and this is sort of where we ran into problems in the past and will continue to. Basically, an extra sword is dropping down because we got branded 7 out of 7. Someone died to it, and so that is sort of the, like you can see right there, 2 swords kind of just overwhelms us, and we have a really hard time right here. This is where a lot of our deaths are coming, are happening, but it really does overwhelm us. This is where having the black portal setting on the altar, see people are trying to get on the altar to remove the branding, is key. I think overall the answer is to just power through it. You see I died right there to branding, so another sword is going to drop or another rotted area. See 2, and the Suns are down 30 at halftime. Yeah, we 3 minutes in, doing pretty well, kind of getting overwhelmed right here. A lot of mass deaths. We have 2 phantoms and a bishop, so we running through, rotating through our res and our time leap and things like that. But main thing is really, in my opinion, DPS. We kind of just have to, I think phase 1 is pretty manageable DPS wise once we sort of get the hang of it and get more uptime. You see we have pretty good DPS, but definitely can be better across the board as we start to position him better and get better rotation and understanding how the mechanics of the boss. I think DPS will just naturally go up. Obviously this change helped. V3 will help, but I think the goal for us is to, when V3 comes around, to be clearing that first week or one of the first few weeks after that. So we're trying to get our prep in, trying to get our runs in, just to experience phase 1. To get phase 2, it's kind of hard to predict, and even though there's a set rotation, it was difficult to, just takes a learning curve, right? It's like anything else. So we're trying to slowly not burn out, not trying to, and just maybe allocate 1 set of buffs, maybe 2 sets of buff a week to get some experience and get some run in at the boss. So this is our second attempt. We waited for all our cooldowns to come up again to maximize our, obviously, our DPS, and this is our second attempt in the run. And this one went a lot better. This one we actually get to phase 2, and we had a little bit of unfortunate situation in the transition, but you'll see it. And this little animation is in this little animation here for Damien at the start screen. But here again, we tried to force it left, still ended up dashing right. Kind of unfortunate. The rotted is on the left, everyone. So we tried to bring it back to the middle behind the skill wheel, but again, something we have to work on. I tried to stun it right there to maximize uptime. So even though it's in the corner, 10-second stun feels really nice. Rotted kind of screwed us right there, but it allowed us to move away from the popcorn that was coming in. So that wasn't too bad. If only we started on the left, it would have been much better. But we had a few deaths here kind of at the beginning. Still something that we can get better at. I think maximizing uptime really in this time frame right here after the popcorn, there's a lot of uptime to be had. It's just avoiding the rotted. And then, so I definitely think we should maximize our DPS here in this little window. Maybe you should stun to do that as well here. But then this is sort of the sequence where he dashes. It's going to be the kind of the black smoke skill, I think, right here. Oh, that's the kind of a slow skill. That's a really long animation, so that's easy to avoid. Then popcorn, and I think after this is going to be a dash, and then a black smoke, which is sort of like kind of reminds me of Empress, floor 44 is Empress, where you kind of just have to find the window right here. And this is where prop my synchro, because there's going to be 2 black smoke periods in this kind of 30-second window. So I think the black smoke comes up again after this dash right there. Yeah, so that's sort of an ideal time for me to use my synchro there to avoid all of that, because a lot of people kind of died right there. So help me maximize my damage just a little bit and avoid kind of that mechanic. I think I still didn't avoid that dash right there, so I got branded. You see our branding stacks are pretty high, and it's going to affect us where the swords are going to overwhelm us. The rotted areas are going to overwhelm us again. But that is something we're working on. I do think that kind of 2 minutes in, it's definitely doable. In Korean Maple Story, they do say that kind of you want to clear phase 1 in 90 seconds to have enough time for phase 2, to actually have enough DPS for phase 2. And I think that, we're 2 minutes in, we're not far off from getting there. I think that if we do a little bit more damage up front with our burst cooldowns, then right here we'd eliminate all this downtime right here, and we could have got to phase 2 quicker, because I think we're pretty close to phase 2. But right here you see we're going to get branded, the swords are going to overwhelm us, and it's going to take us much longer, another 45 seconds maybe to get through phase 2. So we're pretty close right here from pushing into phase 2 damage wise. It's just look at all those swords right there. I die, everyone dies, and this is kind of that breaking point we try to avoid in phase 1. I definitely think it's doable. It just is going to take a little bit of practice and reps. But you can see right here, then all the rotted areas are just overwhelming us. Then the popcorn, cooldowns come back up, trying to burst it down with Echo and Synchro here. But we do have a few people dead, and we do end up pushing him into phase 2. And unfortunately, we have a few dead here, and then a few more die. So here, this is the animation. We're pretty stoked about this for phase 2. This is actually our second time getting to phase 2 this day. So, but the other one actually was due to branding and not due to pushing it through the DPS threshold. So this was our best run. We ended up we had a weird thing where rotted area, I think, killed half of our team during that transition. So that was unfortunate. We went into phase 2 with more than 2 lives left, but that kind of little rotted area transition pretty much screwed our chances of having a 10 out of 10 going into phase 2. But it was nice to see kind of, this is going to be a dash right here, the animation. A little slow kind of build up of his sword. He swings it similar to Hard Magnus. Everyone just it's a one-shot, 190k HP right there. I survived because of Paladin, Divine Shield. But yeah, so phase 2 is pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie, it was pretty cool. You have that blue orb that we're trying to avoid, because that's where you do much less damage if you're standing on top of it. You saw the dash skill kind of just wipes everyone out. his kind of dive attack is random, so you have to pay attention to not which way he's facing, but sort of just where he's going to dive. I tried to, it looks like he's going to do this little, yeah, that skill. I don't know what it's called, but you can kind of tell that he did a little wind up for that. Just getting used to the animations. There's the popcorn phase 2 version, but it was just nice to see. Obviously, we did no damage in phase 2. A lot of people were dead, but it was just fun to see sort of all the skill, the rotations that he does. Again, phase 2 has a set rotation. We just have to get familiar with it. Again, take some more experience and practice. It's pretty overwhelming at first, and then this skill kills me. Pretty cool. I was excited just to see that skill. But yeah, this is our Damien run. We got to phase 2. Huge improvement in my opinion, because previous to the patch we weren't even close to this, I think. So this one felt a lot nicer. We at least got to see some of the rotation. Excited to share more content on this. Excited to see other people attempt Lotus or Damien. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.